So, I'm just driving, right? And, obviously, work day, going into work, it's early in the morning, bunch of traffic on the road. And to me, it's a great case study into the nature of humanity and what our core problem is. And the core problem is us. The biggest problem for humanity is humans, because humans are stupid. They are so dumb. And because they're so dumb, their stupidity proliferates because it enables more stupidity. Like this biker just casually almost killed himself for no reason. I don't like it. There's no logic. They're in their own world, right? So there's the lack of awareness. There's a lack of compassion. There's a lack of, again, intelligence, a lack of respect, things along these lines. There's just a lack of a lot of things in humanity that are the cause of a majority of our problems. It's the human mindset, the human conscious, that is our biggest problem. And how do you solve that? You don't make everyone into a robot. No, you properly educate people and you instill a mindset that is beneficial for everyone, rather than proliferating a continual degradation, right? Where it's, oh, well, this isn't working for me, so I'm going to step over this person, right, to get to what I want. And then you get stepped on so that someone can get what they want. And we're just getting trampled, right? Humanity is being trampled by humanity. And if we continue this, there will just be you're running out of bodies. Eventually, there's only so high you can climb on other people, right? And so, looking at traffic, it just kind of highlights this really well, I think, because a big part of why traffic forms is because something happens, it constricts the flow. Typically, it's something to do with exits or on-ramps or something like that. People need to get on, but they struggle to get on because there's so many people on the road, or they need to get off, but only so many people can get off of the exit at a time because it's, either like a one-lane exit, or, there's a stop light or something at the end of the exit, so you got to wait for the light to turn before you can actually, continue. And so it holds up traffic, and the more people there are on the road, the worse this becomes, because as the people get backed up, it backs up people, that restricts flow for other things more. And as the flow gets more and more restricted, then people start to try and find ways to get around the restriction and, avoid the issue for themselves. But by doing this, they actually make the problem worse, right? So there's this one exit, right, that you need if you want to go to these major roads. For some reason, it's basically one road, like it's like a 3-lane exit, but one of the lanes goes to one road, or like one main road. The other exit goes to another main road, and then there's another exit that goes to another main road, right? So this is a highly congested exit because there's a lot of people that need to get off there to then get on to other major highways. And so, why this is a problem is because a lot of people want to go down this one exit, but it's all the way over on the far side. And so as that starts to back up, they're like, well, I'll just go down the lane next to it and then try and sneak in at the end, right? And everyone thinks, oh, I'm above waiting. I'm above traffic. So I'm going to sneak around the outside and get in at the front. And what the thing is that the building blocks for a better humanity is there, because the only reason why this works is because people are nice enough, typically, to let them in. They enable this behavior, right? And by enabling the behavior, it proliferates it, and more people find it acceptable to do it, right? And as more and more people find it acceptable to do it, it makes it worse and worse, which makes more and more people want to, you know, break the rules or bend the rules in order to get what they want. And it that's how society begins to crumble. That's why humanity is so stupid, right? Because they don't care about the long-term effects. They got to get to work, so they're going to screw everyone else over so that they can get to work. And so because they didn't want to be late, they made hundreds or thousands of other people late to work instead, right? And so when you think about it from that perspective, like when you cut traffic because you can't be late for work, you are causing hundreds to thousands of people that also can't be late for work to be late for work. And because of that, all these people are trying to cut ahead and be like, oh, no, I can't be late for work. So they try and cut ahead. And it makes it even worse, right? And so because this just keeps on happening, the traffic gets worse and worse and worse, and more people try and do this. And so I'm sitting there, I'm in my lane, I'm in the right lane for me to get off of my exit, sitting in the traffic. I saw the traffic line. I knew that was my exit I needed to get off at. So I get over and I sit in the traffic, because if everyone did that, there probably wouldn't be any traffic, to be honest. But so I get over, I know that's my traffic. Everyone else, I'm almost certain, knows there's a lot of traffic there. That's my exit. Just about everyone is aware that, hey, I gotta get off in like half a mile. There's a lot of traffic. It's probably for the exit. So I refuse to believe that it's willful ignorance, that they thought, oh, I thought I would be able to get off in front of the traffic. Like I thought the traffic was going to stop right before the exit. No. And if that's the case, then yeah, you are just an idiot. You are absolutely stupid. There's nothing else can be said. You are really dumb. Really dumb. So this upsets me because, as I said, it's not, oh, you're just cheating. You're just cheating a little bit. You're breaking the rules. No. That action impacts hundreds to thousands of other people, if not even more than that, potentially tens of thousands of people. And that sounds like an exaggeration, but when you think about how long the traffic lasts after you cause it, right? And the amount of people that are on the road each day, it's really not an exaggeration. Your act of selfishness has now caused tens of thousands of people to be late for work, which affects their lives in who knows how many ways. You could have gotten like 10 people fired by your one action, right? And then those people can't feed their children, right? And then their children, develop problems because they're malnourished or something like the smallest action you think, oh, I'm just going to be selfish this one time, can have tremendous consequences. It is not this casual, I'm just going to be a bad person and it doesn't affect anyone. And the fact that the thing is that this is why humans are stupid, because the reality is that it does affect someone. It affects a lot of people, and they don't care or they don't think about it. And that is what's the problem. When you don't care about other people, right? This is the lack of compassion, the lack of awareness. When you don't think about other people, that is what causes the problem. This is the source of things like littering. Like, why would you litter? You know that someone else has to pick that up. You know that it's going to harm the earth. Maybe not for you, but that'll affect someone eventually, right? This garbage being placed here may not affect you. It might affect the wildlife. But why would you care about wildlife, right? But if you don't care about the wildlife, then the wildlife dies off, and that affects people later on. So even if you don't care about the animals, it will eventually come back to affecting people, right? Even if you don't care about the plants, if you don't care about nature, it will eventually come back to affecting people. So any action that you take and you're like, I don't care, it eventually comes back to affecting people. So the only way to look at things like that is that you don't care about other people. And if you don't care about other people, again, that is the main problem here, right? There's a lack of awareness, there's a lack of compassion, there's a lack of respect, there's a lack of a lot of things, right? And if we reorient the values of our society, if we restructure the, method of raising the next generation, right? If we make societal changes that really wouldn't be that complicated to make, right? But if we make these societal changes, knowing that maybe it's not going to impact us right now, but the future will be brighter, right? That's how we get to that, perfect society, quote unquote, right? It's not going to be perfect. But in order for us to solve a majority of humanity's problems, we need to solve humans. We need to solve our mindset. We need to fix that. That will fix so many of our problems for us, right? Solving traffic by adding another 2 lanes doesn't work. It's not the lane, it's not the road that's the problem. It's the people. It's the people on the road, right? That's what it comes back to for a lot of things. Littering's not the problem. It's the people littering. The reality is things like hunger is not the problem. The lack of food is not the problem. It's the people not, sharing, right? Right? It's the need to be constantly repaid for your work, right? Because money is a necessity for life, right? And things are only getting more and more expensive, and this is exactly why we are trampling ourselves, because as things become more and more expensive and harder to get, people will become more and more desperate, and as people become more and more desperate, the situation gets worse and worse, and certain actions become more and more normalized. Crime has gone up. I'm almost certain of it. I go into Walmart and everything's locked up behind cases and stuff. It wasn't like that when I was younger, but it's like that now because the behavior has been normalized because people have become more and more desperate. As things get more and more expensive, certain behaviors become more and more commonplace, right? Someone started stealing because either they needed to or maybe they got a kick out of it. I don't know, right? And they told their buddies, oh yeah, I just steal that, right? And they were like, you just steal that? Yeah, I just steal it. So then they started stealing, right? And then more people started stealing. And then, now you get to that point where it's like, okay, well, everyone's stealing. Everyone is stealing, right? And it's not just in Walmart. Like, this happens in the market, like the markets, the stock market. This happens in the stock market. Like, this happens everywhere. This is just how society is structured right now. And it is not sustainable. It is going to fail. Because at a certain point, when everyone stops following the rules, you have anarchy, you have chaos, right? When the rules are no longer followed and everyone does what's best for them, you run into a situation where, like, what can you do, right? Like, how do you live in society when there is no longer a society, right? It's just chaos. And so, I've noticed this just by watching traffic here, and it just kind of highlights how bad things are and, how dangerous this is. Because the amount of people that refuse to wait in the traffic and try and get around the traffic, knowing that they can get around the traffic, is astounding, right? I'm sitting there, I'm watching, like, the main reason why my lane is backed up, because most of the people weren't even trying to get off at the actual exit I wanted to. They weren't trying to get onto my road. They were trying to get onto the other road. But I had to wait in, 10, 20 minutes worth of traffic to get off of the highway for basically no reason, because there was no traffic to get on to get off at my exit. It was for the other exit that the traffic was there. And so, like this, it's just extremely concerning, right? And as I said, it's not sustainable. It's stupid. It's terribly stupid. There's no foresight. There's no awareness. There's nothing. It's just unconscious people focused on themselves. And that will destroy us. It just will. There's no other way around it. If everyone keeps focusing, this is what our society preaches right now. If everyone keeps focusing on do what's best for you, live your best life, right? And that means hoarding wealth and buying stupid fancy shoes and clothes that means nothing and costs a fraction of what you spent on it, then people will continue to suffer, right? And eventually you reach a breaking point, and when you reach that breaking point, there's no fix, there's no coming back from that. Fracture is fracture, right? Once you breaking in my mechanical background, once you pass the point of elastic deformation, you have a problem. But once you hit fracture, like failure or whatever you want to call it, you know, that's it, right? That's it. So yeah, I don't know. I may not even said that right, but if I didn't, whatever. So you get the idea. Anyway, peace out.